Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. In the heart of the great palace of Alexandria, the royal family gathers after the death of Pharaoh Ptolemy the XIII, but the air is not filled with mourning. It's filled with ambition and betrayal. Cleopatra, wise and determined, faced her younger brother, King Ptolemy the XIII, a boy too young to rule, yet blinded by pride and the whispers of deceitful advisors. Ptolemy Theos Philopator was both the younger brother and political husband of Cleopatra, due to the Egyptian royal tradition at the time, in which siblings could marry to preserve royal blood. However, behind their marriage, they were actually enemies, mainly because the royal advisors manipulated Ptolemy XIII to remove Cleopatra from the throne. Ptolemy XIII was a young boy, around 13 years old at the beginning of the conflict. Cleopatra was his older sister, intelligent, ambitious, and possessing strong political charisma. But Ptolemy, still young and inexperienced, was easily influenced by the men around him, the royal advisors who spoke with gentle voices but hidden motives. They told him that Cleopatra sought all the power for herself, that she would soon cast him aside. Slowly, their whispers turned the young king's heart against his own sister, and the bond of blood that once united them began to break. Blinded by pride and poisoned by lies, young Ptolemy turned against his own blood. Before the court of Egypt, he ordered his sister, Queen Cleopatra, to leave the palace. The advisors stood behind him, silent and smiling, as the young king believed he had claimed his throne, while in truth, he was only a puppet of their power. As the heavy doors closed behind her, Cleopatra walked away, a queen without a throne. Her heart burned with anger and sorrow, but within that fire, a new strength began to rise. She had lost the palace, yet not her will, and soon the sands of Egypt would remember her name. After being forced from the palace, Cleopatra fled east toward the borders of Syria. Alone but unbroken, she began her journey through the desert, carrying nothing but her will to return. In the eastern sands near the borders of Syria, Cleopatra gathered her loyal followers, soldiers, allies, and those who still believed in her name. From the ashes of defeat, she began to build the army that would one day take back her crown. Meanwhile, in Alexandria, the city began to crumble. Without Cleopatra's wisdom, the court fell into chaos. The advisors quarreled, the soldiers turned restless, and the young king could no longer control his throne. Egypt itself was waiting for the queen's return. Then came Julius Caesar, the Roman general whose shadow stretched across the world. As his ships reached Alexandria, the fate of Egypt began to shift. For in this foreign man's arrival, Cleopatra would soon find her chance to take back her throne. A cinematic close-up of Julius Caesar walking through the grand Egyptian palace, seen from the front. His red cape flows behind him, sunlight shining across his determined face. Behind him, the hall glows with vibrant colors, emerald green, deep blue, and gold. Egyptian guards line the corridor on both sides, their faces filled with tension. The perspective focuses on Caesar's confident expression, with the royal throne faintly visible in the distance. When news of Julius Caesar's arrival reached Cleopatra's ears, she knew this was her chance. Banished and betrayed, yet never defeated, she began to form a plan that would change Egypt's destiny. With a calm smile, she whispered to her servant, "Prepare everything. Tonight, I will return to the palace." As night fell over Alexandria, Cleopatra's mind was already set. If the world would not grant her the throne, she would claim it herself. In the silence of her chamber, she gave the order that would change her fate forever, wrapped not in silk or gold, but in courage and cunning. She prepared to meet the most powerful man in Rome. As the grand hall fell silent, servants carried in a rolled carpet, a gift meant for Julius Caesar. None dared to question it. Before the Roman general could speak, the carpet slowly unfurled, revealing not gold nor jewels, but a woman. There she stood, Cleopatra. Her eyes gleamed with intelligence, her presence commanding the air itself. Julius froze. The conqueror of nations was for the first time conquered by beauty and wit. A faint smile curved on Cleopatra's lips. She had planned this moment, and it worked perfectly. Cleopatra spoke with the grace of a queen and the mind of a ruler. Her voice was calm, her words sharp as a blade wrapped in silk. Julius listened, not just with his ears, but with his heart. In that moment, she was no longer a foreign queen. she was an equal. After hearing her story, Caesar made his choice. He would side with Cleopatra, not only for Rome's advantage, but because he saw in her a strength that mirrored his own. Together, they would change the fate of Egypt. The war for Egypt had begun. The city of Alexandria became a battlefield of fire and steel, brother against sister, empire against empire. But amid the chaos, Cleopatra and Caesar fought side by side. Bound by a single destiny, victory. The war ended as swiftly as it began. Ptolemy's pride drowned in the Nile, and Cleopatra's reign was restored. Egypt was hers once more. At last, peace returned to Egypt. Beneath the golden light of the gods, Cleopatra and Julius Caesar were united, the queen of the Nile and the conqueror of Rome. Their bond would shape empires, their love would echo through eternity. Her story doesn't end here. Cleopatra's destiny was only beginning. Power, love, and betrayal awaited beyond the Nile. Follow her journey in the next episode.